welcome to Just Say It. It's me, Lana J, and as always, I missed you guys. I know you had a crazy week, but we're going to wind down the week with a new hot episode right here on Just Say It. The summer's coming out. It's feeling really good outside. This crazy winter's over. I got my little strapless dress on and whatnot. But aside from all of the good weather that we have, school's also out. And when school's out, that's when all of the artists come out. And what I really want you guys to really pay attention to today is the artist that we have today is this dope dancer. He's amazing. He's been doing it for quite a long time, so he really knows what he's talking about. But he also goes into his journey and his transition. I reached out to Columbia. Columbia's Got Talent winner is here today. I know it's very exciting because we know that Columbia is one of the schools that really push out new, original, and fresh things. So, of course, I was able to bring him on stage and really let him tell his story and tell his journey. Not only does this man dance, but he also has his own company where he inspires and motivates those to express their feelings through dance and motivational speaking. So, without any further ado, please sit tight and watch Deavondre Jones talk about his transition here in Chicago. Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Lana J. I missed you as always, but again, it's another episode, and I'm here bringing you the hottest, the freshest, or the newest talent out in the city of Chicago. And of course, I have the winner of the Columbia's Got Talent. You know from previous episodes that I used to go to Columbia, so we always reach out to see who they have coming up in their incredible creative school. And here today with me, I have Deavondre Jones. He is the, like I said, latest winner of the Columbia Got Talent, and you should see him. He's a super dope artist. So let me stop talking because, I can talk to you guys for days. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself. So, hi.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I heard so much good things from Justin Ruff, from Sunray Consulting Group, and I'm like, I have to meet you. This is insane. I'm getting all of this feedback, but who is the man behind the words? So thank you again for being here.
Of course.
And I want you just to go ahead and talk to the audience and just kind of let them know who you are and what you do.
So my name is Deavondre Jones. I'm from Michigan. I currently attend Columbia College. I'm a transfer from Grand Rapids Community College. And right now I have my own company called Danspire.
Okay.
So I mix performance art and motivational speaking to deliver inspirational messages. We just closed out our first year. We had clients like University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Valparaiso University.
Wow.
Columbia is stepping on the team. We're working with CPS schools right now. Urban Prep was the first CPS school for us to solidify, and we're just working and trying to grow.
So how did that really come about?
Great question. So I've always been a dancer.
Okay.
I've been performing for about 7 years. I started out in an after-school program. They used to give us opportunities to go on stage with an open mic. And then that company picked me up as a employee, and then we traveled to other schools and hosted this open mic.
Okay.
And then I started to train about 4 years ago. I had a teacher come into my high school, and she's like, you're really great at this. I would really like for you to get some formal training.
Wow.
Gave me a scholarship. Went to college. I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to pursue dance or not.
Okay.
And I decided that I was going to start a company. I was never an avid reader. I read a book. It was very thought-provoking. One of the questions that really hit me was, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And, I just wrote down a lot of things, like visiting. I said a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Visiting the moon, have a conversation with Barack Obama, start my own company before I'm 25, write my own book before I'm 25. And I looked at which one was very, tangible, and starting a company was that. And I decided, what am I good at? Speaking and performing. So I decided that I was going to mix them together, came up with a name, came up with a logo, got somebody to host it, and then tenacity from there.
Oh, okay, that's dope. The only reason why I'm saying that is because we bring a lot of people on stage. You guys know I'm always pushing entrepreneurship or just to pursue your own dreams for the simple fact that I wouldn't be speaking to you if I didn't do that myself, right? So if you know knowledge, to me, it's everyone's duty, it's your obligation to pass it on. But the fact that you're doing all of this at a young age, so mentally we're on the same page, which is crazy because it's a lot of influences, a lot of outside factors that we as young people kind of run into on a daily basis, and we have to be strong enough and mature enough to kind of overcome those. So what really made you, because I don't see a lot of guys that dance.
Yeah.
usually it's like a taboo on it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being honest.
Understood.
I'm being completely honest.
No.
Especially in the dance industry, like I meet a guy that danced and he was almost afraid to do it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of males out here who have the talent, who have the rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
but are afraid of the image.
Yeah.
So from watching you perform, I see that you do it in a way where it's still masculine,
Yeah.
right? You're still expressing who you are, but you almost make it cool for guys to do that. I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
So, like, were you ever afraid to really go out on that limb and go that route?
Yes.
Okay.
Middle school, like when my first time dancing in public, what do you call it? We had field day.
Okay.
And I'm playing basketball with the guys, we're hooping, and I saw a group of people in this circle, and there's a DJ, and I'm like, you guys, when you quit in the middle of a basketball game, like that's not something you should do. But I was like, I gotta leave. They're like, oh, you suck. So anyway, I walked over to the circle, and I see people like jumping in and dancing, and I'm like, how do you get in this? And they're like, just go out there. You just get out there, and I'm like, I can dance better than these guys. So I jumped out there, and 30 seconds later, I didn't even know what happened. It was just like flash like that. But the thing I do remember is a girl came up to me and handed me her number. And I was like, I can get used to this. So that was my first like real affirmation to like,
really?
I'm a great performer.
I can get used to this.
That sounds very primitive right now. But moving on. The difference, a lot of people, they say, especially people from churches, they see it and they're like, hey, this reminds me of praise dancing. And the differentiation that they point out is that it's to hip hop music. But the second thing is that when you have dancers, a lot of dancers say, my goal, I don't know if you ever, I'm sure you're a dancer and you can speak to somebody who ever said a piece before, but everybody always say, I want to inspire people. And then they explain the story behind it. But watching it, unless you heard their story previously, you don't necessarily get that story all of the time. That's my goal.
It's very rare.
Exactly.
Very rare.
When I perform, I don't want you to miss. I don't want it to be like, oh, you have to think about this and you have to know this history behind this to get what I'm doing. No, let's make it straight out. Let's make it real. Let's make it real response. And let's get what I'm trying to give to you. I don't want you to have to reach. And of course, that's what makes art intelligent. But to reach the youth, I feel like, there's no need to put something up here and have people jump for it. I bring it down here and we all discuss it.
I like that. Okay. I do like that. I like that a lot because there's a lot of people doing it with, I know, spoken word. But in the dance community, that is true. Everyone says, I want to inspire. Low-key, we all want to inspire.
Exactly.
Right? So it's not like this is this newfound idea.
Right.
So I think that doing that in a way where I can just kind of talk it out, and I want to take a class. This is fun. Where you just kind of talk it out, but you dance it out and you move with because do you tend to move with the beat, or are you more like I go off of the words?
I go off the words a lot.
Okay.
I go off the words a lot. I do go to the beat sometimes, and what's really different about what I'm doing, there's two things. One, I was staring you in the eye. Like, it's really creepy. Like, people, like, literally, I'm dancing, and then, so, typically when somebody's performing and they look at you, you laugh.
Right.
And that's the response I get. People typically laugh, but you see this serious face, and you hear the music, and you hear the message behind the music, and you see that I'm not, like, my personality is no longer like, oh, this is a game.
Okay.
And so you understand. The second thing is there's times where I'm not moving. Sometimes I'll stand there. Or sometimes I'll be moving really slow. Typically when you have dancers and they're performing, they're going. And the faster you go, the less time you have to take in things, soak it in. And so by me pausing certain segments, standing there, doing certain things really slow, you're really able to grasp everything, the message, the performance, the movement, the ideas behind it, the values, all of those good things.
This is true. Again, I'm really excited because I'm talking to a dancer. Like, this never happened. Like, usually I say, oh, I used to dance. People go, oh, me too. And that's the end of the conversation. Like, no, you didn't dance.
Exactly.
You don't understand, like, the lifestyle. And you live and breathe and eat, sleep. And this is, like, your life. And so, yeah. I'm really, can you see the smile on my face? Okay. Yes. So, overall, I can definitely say from the huge response, I know you've only been here, for a year?
Yeah, under a year. I've been here since last August, so we're working on 9 months, 10 months.
For you to be here for a year, the amount of response that you've received from the city of Chicago, and the city of Chicago, we're a tough city. Everyone, this is a reputation. It's like this is known. Fact.
That's the first thing they told me.
This
like
is fact.
When I come in, they're like, "This is a tough crowd. These are tough kids."
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. We've always been, when it comes to business, when it comes to pursuing a career, this is a tough city. It's flat out. If you can make it in Chicago, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. So for you to have your name constantly just out here and reaching people and reaching all these people and networking the way that you obviously are doing something right. Mm-hmm. For those of you watching, I really hope that you took notes to kind of understand how it is and how getting on board of the pursuing your dreams train, like people are doing it, right? It's not like just one person. It's a huge movement. We are the next generation.
Yeah,
we're
I agree.
We're the adults, the new coming adults. No one knows what to do with us, right? We don't know what to do with ourselves half the time. It's true, but we have this optimistic view on life. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to take advantage of. You've done it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you saw opportunity, you broke it down, and you said, okay, well, this is how this is going to work, mm-hmm. and you pursued it, and it's working to an extent where I'm pretty sure that you didn't even think that dancing when you're in the 7th grade is an option that you can actually make money and get paid off of. Right. It's the same thing. I was the same way. I mean, all my home videos, acting a plum fool, and I never knew that 10 years down the road, I'll be sitting here doing what I genuinely love to do. I just didn't know it then.
I'd love to reiterate what you were saying. So I'll put it in perspective, and I'll try to give some takeaways from the whole audience. So we're in our 20s, and about 10 to 15 years in our industry, hopefully we're going to be the leaders of that industry. So economically, we're all tied together. Mm-hmm. The money that comes out of my pocket goes to your business, which goes to taxes for the state, which goes to the government, which goes back into the city, which goes back into our pockets.
Yes.
It's a circle. So if you're not on your P's and Q's in your industry, so for example, when the car industry fell, the whole economic structure of America failed as well.
It really did.
So the sharing of information, as much as I want to be on my stuff, I want you to be on your stuff as well.
Exactly.
So that's a perception that I have when I'm coming in and I'm speaking to people. Secondly, as far as pursuing your dreams and this optimistic view, I believe you can't believe in a dream until you believe in yourself. And that's how Danspire came about. I had this really cool idea, but without me constantly, who are you, Deavondre? What do you want to do? What is your purpose? Constantly asking myself those hard questions every single day. When I'm sitting here with somebody like you and you're asking me questions, these questions don't faze me.
Right.
Because I've done it to myself. The biggest thing that stops people is themselves. So, like I said, takeaways. The takeaways are that, one, if you have an idea, you have to believe in yourself before you believe in an idea.
This is so true.
All right. Number two, in pursuing this idea, it's never going to be perfect, and it's never going to come out the way you want it to. We always get what we wish for, but never the way we want it or when we want it. But in the pursuit of believing and reaching, you shape the world around you, right? And then the last thing I'll say is that relationships are key. Our relationship after this, I'll get your business card. And so, for example, when you're going and you're performing for free, you may be performing for free, but make sure you leave with 3 business cards, and make sure you leave with a conversation to follow up with somebody via email, via LinkedIn, via Facebook. Those are the 3 takeaways I would love to give out to you guys.
Yes, and those are really important. I meet a lot of people that come up to me and they want to be a part of the show. They want to be on the show. They want to tell their story. The first thing I say is, do you have a business card? And the first thing I see is the deer in the headlights look. Like, how do you not have a business? You can't. It's all about presentation. And people, in the real world, we like to believe that you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. If you approach me and you don't have your stuff together, I'm not going to take you serious. I'm being honest. And that's like me. It's the same thing. If I approach somebody with an opportunity and I don't have my stuff in line, the eyebrow's gonna be raised, and they're looking at me like somebody mama, like, who are you trying to fool? Exactly. And it's just like you have to understand that these things are important. I think that even though we are young, we don't want to change how we are. we have this individual, I am my own person mentality, and it's cool. It's okay. But when you want to make money and you want to talk to the CEOs who are our parents' age, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone and understand that you have to sometimes play by their rules to get your foot in the door. Once your foot's in the door, it's all yours. That's how I look at it.
I like it. Last thing I'll say about that, I love the difference in speaking.
Yes.
When I speak to you, I'm speaking more so about you ever went to church and it was really great and you leave and you're like, hey man, I just left church and this was a great sermon, like I'm ready to get my life together. And he's like, oh yeah, what did he say? And you're like, I don't even remember, but like, man, it was great. Like when you're talking to your friends, you guys go off this very feeling. It's about feeling, it's about this is what I believe, is very like motivation type thing. That's great. But when you're talking to somebody a bit older than you, it's a different story. When you're talking to somebody, you need to talk about results. You need to talk about numbers. You need to talk about statistics. You need to talk about how is what you're doing going to help them and how can we measure it. So there's two different conversations going on there. And hopefully you guys engage in those two different parts of conversation.
Also, I want to talk about vernacular as well. This is so important. You guys, I play with you guys all the time, right? I say low key. But that's me. This is a very laid back show. Obviously, I don't want to come across as this like, super Barbara Walters person because that's not really who I am personally. And the people that I meet, I don't receive them to be that serious as well, right?
Gotcha.
But a lot of you, when you want to get that opportunity, you have to change the way you speak. Right? So that means putting the G at the end of the ing words, maybe taking out ain't and switching it. But then, I'm being honest though.
No, this is true.
This is a deal breaker as well, especially with the older CEOs, the older generation who are, yes ma'am, yes sir. You have to talk to them just like they speak with you. And I don't think people realize that. I used to do interviews back in the day. Well, it ain't that back in the day, but like a couple of years ago. And even though I'm young, I still demand a certain respect. I'm still grown. I'm still a woman, right? People come in and say, okay, so why did you apply for this position? And they go, well, like I'm not your friend. Like,
and I don't
what
know.
Are you doing?
What do you
like,
mean?
what was that? It's not even English. Like, there's nothing wrong with subject-verb agreement. And I think because, like I said, we're young. Rap music, okay, there's no subject-verb agreement in that at all. But we connect with it, right? This is our culture. We're hip-hop. We're, like breakdance. That's us. Graffiti, tattoos. It's completely against what the old 1950s structure, is and how, I'll say, corporate America really is set nowadays. We're slowly changing. We're not there yet, but we're in the change. So, when you go and you do meetings, how important is it that you change the way that you speak temporarily to get the results that you're looking for?
It's very important, and to make it more receptive to you, it's not necessarily changing the way you speak, and that's what you're doing, but it's communicating with somebody. When you're talking to a baby or 3-year-old, you don't say, hey, I'm about to go to the store. Make sure you don't touch anything or mess anything up. I'll be right back. Can you put the pot on the stove? It's certain things you don't say to that 3-year-old because you know the way he comprehends and what he understands. So it's the same way when you're talking to somebody else. You have to understand what is their lifestyle like? What do they think? What do they believe in? And you have to communicate with them effectively. So it's not necessarily changing yourself, and that's what you must do. But at the same time, you're doing it because you want to effectively communicate with somebody.
Yes. I couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't say it better myself. So that's just something I want you guys to take. For those of them watching, how can we reach you?
Definitely. So there's many ways to reach me. The number one way is my website. It's todance2inspire.com. That's inspire.com. If you want to get me on Facebook, you want to get me on YouTube, or you want to get me on Instagram, it's Deavondre J. Hopefully that there will be some link provider or something with the video. You could probably search her website and they'll probably post something as well. Exactly. But To Dance to Inspire, the company is called Danspire.
and you'll be gracing us with the performance
Yeah.
very soon. So sit tight. You better not pick up that remote. We're going at it. No, seriously. Hold on, and we're gonna go ahead and get everything set up.
Yeah.
And then we'll be seeing exactly what I've been bragging about all this time. So stay tuned.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's like, mama, this air bubble right here, it's gonna make me fly. I hit that court, and when I jumped. I swear I got so high. I touched the net. Mom, I touched the net. This is the best day of my life. Air Maxes were next. That air